Have you ever stopped for a moment and wondered what if the world you are living in right now is already changing in ways you cannot fully see yet? What if the future is not something far away, but something that is quietly forming around you day by day? And the strangest part is, most people will not even realize it until everything already feels different. Because the truth is, the future does not arrive suddenly. It does not knock on your door and announce itself. It slowly blends into your daily life until one day you wake up and nothing feels the same anymore. And 2026 might be one of those moments. Not because of one single event, but because of many small changes happening at the same time, changes that together can reshape how we live, how we think, and even how we understand reality itself. Some of what you are about to hear may sound extreme, but if you look closely, you will realize that many of these things have already started. So the real question is not if they will happen, but how far they will go. Let's start with something that might completely change how you see the world. Very soon you may not be able to tell what is real anymore. Right now you can still question a video, you can still look closely, and sometimes notice something is off, but that window is closing. Artificial intelligence is evolving at a speed most people do not fully understand. It can already clone voices, generate human faces that do not exist, and create videos that look completely real. Now imagine this: you open your phone and you see a video of a world leader making a shocking announcement, or a celebrity admitting something unbelievable. Everything looks real, the voice, the face, the emotions, but it never actually happened, and millions of people believe it. When that line between real and fake disappears, trust becomes fragile, information becomes dangerous, and reality itself starts to feel unstable. This is not just about entertainment. This can influence elections, create panic, manipulate markets, and shape public opinion in ways we have never experienced before. And the scariest part is not the technology itself, but how easily people can be convinced by it. Now let's talk about something that affects almost everyone, but is rarely discussed honestly. Jobs are disappearing, and it is happening quietly. There is no big announcement, no clear warning, but certain roles are slowly being replaced. Customer service is becoming automated, content is being generated instantly, design is being assisted or even created by systems that never get tired, never ask for a raise, and work faster than any human. At first, it feels like convenience, it feels like progress, but underneath it, there is a shift happening. A shift where skills that were valuable yesterday may not be needed tomorrow. And many people will not realize this until they find themselves struggling to keep up. The pace of this change is what makes it different from anything before. It is not slow. It is not gradual in the way people expect. It is accelerating. While some are adapting, others are still assuming they have time. But time might be the one thing they do not have. Now think about your daily life, your expenses, your habits, the way you spend money. You may have already noticed that things feel more expensive even if you cannot always explain why. The same amount of money does not go as far as it used to, and this feeling may become stronger. As we move toward 2026, the cost of living may continue to rise. Food, housing, transportation, everyday needs may all become heavier burdens. But what is interesting is not just the increase itself, it is how people adapt to it. At some point, what once felt expensive becomes normal. People adjust their expectations, they change their standards, they accept less without even realizing it. And slowly, without a clear moment of realization, life becomes more difficult, while feeling strangely familiar at the same time. Now let's move to something more emotional, but just as important: loneliness. We live in a time where you can connect with anyone, anywhere, at any moment, yet many people feel more alone than ever before. This is not just a feeling, it is becoming a pattern. As digital interaction replaces real human connection, something changes. Conversations become shorter, attention becomes divided, relationships become more surface level. By 2026, it is possible that more people will spend the majority of their time interacting through screens rather than in person. And even when surrounded by others, there can still be a sense of isolation. This kind of loneliness is different. It is not about being physically alone, it is about feeling disconnected. And over time, this can affect not only mental health, but physical health as well. Now consider how you present yourself to the world, especially online. Your digital identity is becoming a version of you that others interact with more than your real self. Photos, posts, stories, profiles, these are all pieces of a constructed image. And as technology improves, these images can become more polished, more controlled, more perfect. But perfection creates distance. The more idealized your digital self becomes, the harder it can be to connect with who you really are. By 2026, this gap may grow even wider. People may spend more time maintaining their online identity than developing their real-life experiences. And at some point, a question starts to appear. If everyone sees a version of me that is carefully created, then who am I when no one is watching? Speaking of watching, there is another layer to all of this that is becoming harder to ignore. The feeling of being observed. Data is everywhere. Every click, every search, every interaction leaves a trace. Systems collect, analyze, and learn from this information. At first, this creates convenience. Recommendations become more accurate, services become more personalized, everything feels tailored. But there is another side to it. When systems understand your behavior, your preferences, your patterns, they can begin to predict what you will do next. And when something can predict you, it can also influence you. By 2026, the level of data analysis may reach a point where technology does not just respond to your actions, but anticipates them. And this creates a strange dynamic where you feel in control, but many of your choices are being subtly guided. Now imagine living in a world where information is everywhere but truth feels harder to find. This is already happening. Different people see different versions of reality based on what they consume. Algorithms show content that aligns with beliefs, reinforce opinions, and filter out opposing views. As this continues, people may become more divided, not just in opinion, but in perception of reality itself. Two people can witness the same event and come away with completely different understandings, and both feel absolutely certain they are right. By 2026, this fragmentation of truth may become even more intense, making communication more difficult and understanding more rare. Now think about time, not the clock, but how time feels. Many people already feel like time is moving faster than before. Days blur into weeks, weeks disappear into months. This is not just imagination, it is connected to how our brains process information. Constant stimulation reduces our ability to fully register experiences. When everything is fast, nothing feels distinct, and when nothing feels distinct, time seems to disappear. As digital consumption increases, this effect may become stronger. By 2026, more people may feel like life is passing too quickly without fully experiencing it. And this creates a sense of urgency mixed with confusion. Now, here is where things take an interesting turn. When reality feels overwhelming, uncertain, or exhausting, people look for escape. This escape can take many forms: digital worlds, immersive experiences, constant entertainment. Spaces where control feels easier, outcomes feel predictable, and discomfort can be avoided. As these options become more advanced, more engaging, more accessible, they may start to replace parts of real life. Not completely, but enough to shift priorities. And over time, what begins as a temporary escape can become a preferred reality. Finally, there is one more thing that may define everything else: awareness. By 2026, the difference between people who recognize these changes and those who do not may become very clear. Some will adapt, they will question, they will stay aware of how things are shifting. Others will continue as if nothing is happening, not because they choose to ignore it, but because the changes are subtle enough to blend into normal life. And this creates a gap in understanding, in opportunity, in control. Because the future does not affect everyone equally. It rewards awareness and punishes distraction. So now let me ask you something. As you listen to all of this, which part felt the most real to you? Which part felt like it is already happening? Because that is the key. The future is not a distant concept. It is already here in pieces forming, shaping, influencing. And by the time it becomes obvious, it may already be too late to question it. So the real question is not what will happen in 2026. The real question is, will you notice it while it is happening, or only after everything has already changed?